In this tutorial video, I'm going to walk you through how to use ProtoSphere on the iPad. Once I've signed up for an account and installed the app on my device, I'll go ahead and tap on the icon to launch it. I should see the ProtoSphere welcome screen appear, and then a loading message as well. When the login screen appears, you'll want to go ahead and enter your username in that first field here, and then your password in the field below it. You'll also want to make sure you select the www.protonmedia.com server address from the drop-down menu here if it's not already visible. You're going to tap the Select Server button, and that's going to sort of confirm your connection to that particular ProtoSphere server. And then you're going to go ahead and tap Login. Now, because this is your first time coming into ProtoSphere, you're going to need to set up your avatar, selecting the series of choices for customizing the look of it. And you can see I can kind of pan up and pan down so I get a full perspective of what my avatar looks like. And I'll just go ahead and cycle through some of the options here, giving you just a quick glimpse of what that all looks like. Changing my outfit a bit, maybe changing some of the colors. When you're all done selecting all those choices, you're just going to go ahead and tap on the Apply button, just for a moment or two. And here I am now in my landing location in ProtoSphere. Now, one of the very first things that you'll see appear here is this little input field that says enter your phone number. And ultimately, this is going to be the way that you're going to connect into the Link voice conference inside of ProtoSphere, all for the sake of being able to communicate with your colleagues. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually have the system call me. I'll go ahead and tap on that input field, and I'll enter my phone number. And now I have to remember to enter it using 1 followed by my area code. And then I'll go ahead and tap on the call button here. So now, in a moment, I should hear my phone ringing. And now that's ProtoSphere calling me. So I'll answer the call, and that'll connect me up to the conference. Now I'll get a little notification here in the upper right hand corner of the screen. You'll see how the phone icon has changed its state and says end call. If I happen to tap on that now, I can go ahead and end my phone call if I wish to, but I'm going to remain in the conference here for a few minutes. You'll notice how if I swipe my fingers left and right, I can sort of change my view a little bit of the 3D environment. I can use a pinch and spread motion to sort of zoom in and zoom out. I can also just tap on the floor anywhere I want to walk to that location in the room. And I use that a lot, obviously. I'm going to tap anywhere I want to walk in the space. I'm going to tap on a chair to take a seat. Or I'm going to tap again over here to walk out of that chair and position my avatar over here. Now in the lower right hand corner of the screen, you should see a series of gesture icons. And this is my gesture wheel. If I want to, for example, wave, I go ahead and tap on the wave gesture. If I want to give you a thumbs up, I tap on thumbs up. You'll also notice in the bottom right hand corner here I have a camera icon. Now if I tap on that, what that's going to do is put me into a first person perspective of the overall 3D environment. And again, now while in that view, all I have to do is sort of swipe my finger, drag it around left, right, up, down to sort of change my perspective of the 3D space. Now in this first person view, I'm also given a laser pointer. So if I tap on the laser pointer button, I'll enable it, and now I can tap and drag around to point my laser anywhere I want to sort of point something out in the 3D environment. To turn that off, I just simply tap on it again. Now I'll tap on the camera icon to switch myself back over to my third person view, my default view. And I'll turn your attention to the sort of upper right hand corner of the screen here. Here we see the various communication tools that are available to us. Now, I've already called myself, so I'm connected to the Link conference. But I would do it from this option here if I hadn't already done that when I entered the zone. Right below that is my text bubble. And when I tap on that, it brings up the group conversation down at the bottom of the screen here. Now this is going to be the area where I enter text and have text-based conversations with any of the participants that are in the room with me. Now obviously this is two-way text, so anything that's sent by other folks, I'm going to see appear here as well. Now at any time in the conference, if I want to mute myself, I can just simply tap on this microphone icon here. It'll mute my voice audio. And then of course I can unmute myself again by just simply tapping on it once more. Now in the upper left hand corner of the screen here, we have our users panel, which gives me access to a handful of other features that we have available here in the ProtoSphere client. From this users button, for example, I'm going to be able to see all the participants that are with me in this zone, as well as be able to access my contacts. Now, I'm here by myself, so I'm not going to see anyone listed in this particular view. If I tap around a little bit more, I can select my locations, and I can view a listing of all the locations that I have access to here in the 3D environment. I can swipe through that list up and down here, for example, I can even see that this particular location has one user already present in there. If I tap on that location, I'll actually see who's in that particular location, and then obviously I can take it a step further by tapping on it and then selecting the teleport button to jump over to that location in the 3D space. Now the act of teleporting is simply just the idea that you're moving from one location to another within the 3D environment. I'll get a brief loading message, and then eventually I'll land in that location that I wanted to go to. And you'll see if I tap over here, I can walk on over to where that other avatar is. Now, one thing to note is that the call I had previously made is still live. I'm still on that call. It's simply just been transferred now over to this particular location. In fact, it actually works the same way. If I walk my avatar over here to one of these smaller private voice zone areas, the call just gets transferred over to this private voice area for me to be able to have sort of a private sidebar conversation with my colleague, or maybe take part in some sort of breakout activity. Now, I wanted to come into this particular room because I wanted to be able to point out the various media board surfaces that we have scattered throughout the 3D environment. For example, if I head on over here, I can see there's an example of one media board surface on this side of the room. I just go ahead and tap on that media board surface, and I get a zoomed in view of the content that's there. And I'll just use a swipe gesture to go through the content that exists on that media board, either swiping left or swiping right. Now, if there's something I want to add to it, I can tap and hold on my action wheel. And here, for example, I can annotate over top of the content. And those annotations appear for everyone in the environment. I also have the ability to pinch and zoom in on this content that's on these surfaces just to get a better view or better legibility of whatever that content is. You'll also notice that at the top of the media board surface, we have this sort of thumbnail view of all the slides of content that exists on that particular surface. Now, if I want to happen to view a particular slide of content, all I do is tap on that slide, like this fourth slide here, and the content will appear directly on the surface for everyone to see and view in the 3D environment. And I just hit the X to get out of that. And you see if I want to add some content of my own, I tap on another media board surface, and I go ahead and tap and hold, bringing up my action wheel. And I'll tap on the little T symbol there for text. This will actually open up an input field for me, and this allows me to add a new slide of content that is text-based on that particular media board surface. And you'll see that as you go in and out of these different 3D spaces, there are multiple sets of media boards throughout the environment. I can also add other kinds of content to the surface from the iPad. I can tap and hold and bring up things from my camera roll, for example. Any sort of assets that I might have there, photos, screenshots, in some cases even video, if I want to add video directly from my iPad to that media board surface. I just simply find the asset that I want to upload, select it, and then I'll get a little sort of progress indicator here showing me the progress of that upload. Again, for everyone in the space with me to see and experience at the same time. Now I'll get out of that and move around a little bit. I'll show you one more piece of content that we have on the media board surfaces. It's the sort of playback of video. When I tap on a media board that has video on it, I simply tap on that play button down there, and the video itself begins to play. And again, the video is not playing just for myself, but it's also playing for every other participant that's in the space with me. I can swipe through whatever content might be there. Maybe it's multiple videos, whatever the case might be. Now I want to show you another feature that we have available to us, and those are our SharePoint boards. If I just tap on over here, I can head on over to one of the boards we have in this particular room. I'll tap on it and I get a zoomed in view of that particular SharePoint board. Now this is pointing to a document library that we have associated with this particular room in the 3D environment. You'll see I have 3 documents listed here, a couple PDFs and a PowerPoint. If I want to view one of those PDFs, I just tap on it once, and now I have sort of the visibility, the view of that PDF document. I can swipe through it, read it, do whatever I want with it, and I just tap off of it to exit out of that particular view. And just swipe around a little bit, get a better view of myself, tap over here. Now one of the things in the upper left hand corner that you'll see here is sort of adjacent to the users list is the ability to bookmark a location. I tap on the add button, and that now bookmarks the location I'm in. And in fact here you'll also see in that same area the name of the location that I'm currently in and how many participants are there with me. From that little My Locations drop down menu, if I tap on that once, I'll get a listing of the bookmark locations that I have on that left side there, and then on the right side I get a view of the recently visited locations that I've been in. And again, if I want to just access those things, I just tap on them and teleport on over to those locations. Now I want to also show you a couple things that you can do on the avatars. If I tap on the avatar of another user, I get 3 options. Viewing link contact card, sending a private message, and inviting that participant to a voice conversation. If I send them a private message, it's actually going to open up another text chat window for me, where I can enter text and have sort of another private sidebar text-based conversation with that particular individual user. Maybe it's a colleague, or I'm having a conversation with maybe the subject matter expert, that sort of thing. The last thing I want to show you here is sort of when you're all done with the session, you'll want to exit or log out of your ProtoSphere client here, and I'm just going to simply tap on the users panel, select the settings button, and tap log out. Here it's just going to ask me to confirm, and I'm going to go ahead and tap yes. And of course I'll be sent back to that login screen. And that concludes this ProtoSphere tutorial on the iPad.